Welcome to the show. My guest tonight, Mandy Balak. Thanks for coming.
I'm so excited to be here. Finally.
It's been a long journey for us to get here. You were the first person I reached out to when I first started a podcast.
So flattering when you told me that.
Yeah.
Tell me, why?
Well, I listened to your podcast, The Well, at the time. And now I'm an even bigger fan after going to the gathering and learning more about you, having researched you twice.
I love it. Well, timing is everything, right? So I'm sorry we didn't connect earlier, but I'm happy to be here today, and a big believer in, everything happens for a reason. So maybe if I was one of your first guests, I wouldn't have had anything good to say back then. Hopefully I got some good content for you today.
Yeah. And I'm so glad that this is after I went to the gathering and I experienced that. Such a great experience. So let's get into all of it.
Let's do it.
First, I want to know how you describe to people what you do, because there's a lot.
There are many titles. And to be honest, it's sometimes contextually, depending on who I'm talking to, what I lead with. But I am a multi-passionate person and involved in a lot of things that really energize me. So I introduce myself as the president of the gathering, and I like to go by the chief keeper of the vibe over there. So we're we're the vibe keeper. I have a new title this year, which I'm excited, which is author. I'm publishing a book this year, my first book, Chasing Enough. It's coming out this summer, so small plug there.
That's awesome.
Really excited about that. I'm also a leadership guide and leadership coach, so I work with some ambitious entrepreneurs and leaders as well, and helping them lead well and live fully.
When you were first starting out, what were you initially drawn to, and how did you get started in all of this in business?
Entrepreneurship, business, all of it. The first business I think that I had, I was 7 years old, maybe, selling herring off the dock. My dad taught me how to hustle the fishermen for 10 cents a fish, and I'd take it and I'd go buy my candy at the store, and I was addicted to the game. Many lemonade stands after that, and I don't know if I ever saw another option for me outside of entrepreneurship. Hello, Luna.
Sorry.
I grew up, I had a family of entrepreneurs. My mom was an entrepreneur, my grandfather, my dad. And so for me, creating my own path was always something I was interested in. And the first, my first business, my first incorporated business was in 2012. I was in University of Calgary, and we had a build a business project in my third year of my entrepreneurship degree. And I was in Entrepreneurship 381, and Sandra Malik was one of my instructors at the time. She said, everyone's going to come up with 5 potential business ideas this semester, and we'll have a pitch day, and the best businesses will win the support of your other students to help you do a research project and see if it's a viable business. I was lit up. I was like, oh my gosh, I've been looking for a way to steward all these ideas in my head, and this is the opportunity to kind of put some things on paper. And what business am I going to choose? And that's where date night came from. Relationships have always been something that are really important to me. It's one of my core values. And, when it comes to, your significant other, like a relationship where you're dating or marriage, one of the common problems in a relationship is where do we go on date night and what do we eat for dinner? And I found this as a recurring challenge in my relationships. It's Friday night rolls around, and there was this conversation that was, hey, where do you want to go tonight? And the other person is like, I don't know, whatever you want to do, it's fine. And then you kind of just get stuck in doing the same old thing, or this frustration happens of I wish you planned more and whatever. So I wanted to solve that problem. And I wanted to, make it easier for couples to find more enjoyment together and more opportunities for connection and coming together, and take away the overwhelm of, what restaurant should I go to, all the things. So I worked on that throughout the semester. I pitched, I won the project, and I won the support of a few team members to help me the rest of the semester. And as it turned out, it was a viable business opportunity. And I took that and I ran with it. And I started the business, incorporated in 2012. I was still in university, so I had a year left. And I changed my major from marketing to entrepreneurship. I convinced all my teachers to let me use my class time to actually work on the business. And I launched. And this was at like the very beginning of Instagram. And so, I sort of think that the company became this influencer marketing company or media company with a niche of relationships before influencers were really a thing. And we gained a lot of traction. I got a lot of traction really early on. People were really excited about it. This is back with the old algorithm. So you could post something and get a ton of engagement and content very organically. And I was able to fill rooms for restaurants and businesses by, a single post or like going and featuring something. And for those of you that haven't heard of Date Night before, it's still alive and well now. I actually built the business for 10 years and exited it. But the premise of the business is it's an online platform, it's a media company, and you can go and find all the great ideas for what to do on a date. And the way that it was monetized was through, there would be a subscription model for companies. We had an app, we had a website, or it was an ad platform. So that was the first real gateway drug to entrepreneurship, we'll say. For me, anything that I've ever started has always started with what's the problem I'm hoping to solve. And it's generally a problem that I'm experiencing in my life. And so that was kind of the first biz.
You mentioned using Date Night to fill rooms, and the gathering is like filling a room. Is that a common thread you've seen throughout your projects you've worked on?
It's it's community, right? It's bringing people together. So yeah, filling the room is one thing, but what are we doing there? And it is important when you are a multi-passionate person. And I've had to learn this the hard way through burning myself out by saying yes to too many things. Is I think in order for you to feel alive and energized in many things is you have to understand what the through line is. And for me, the through line is absolutely relationships and transformation. And that is what the gathering is. Absolutely. It is an experiential event that brings people together, and it transforms you. It transforms your brand. It transforms your relationships. It transforms your business. It transforms your leadership. And, similarly for me with the early days with Date Night, it's how do we bring people together to make relationships better? And that's transformative too.
Can you tell me about with Date Night, when you realized it was working more than just a school project?
Yeah, I got early traction. I was pounding pavement. I was going to talk to every restaurant in the city and say like, would you be interested in this? And there was a lot of no's that I got as well. I think a lot of, I remember people kind of being not on board with social media or marketing or Facebook or like anything like that. They're like, that's not going to do anything. I'm like, let me tell you, actually. They're like, nah, I'm going to keep buying ads in the local magazine. I'm like, okay, cool. Good luck with that. And so I did get a lot of no's. It was early. And I have found in my career that I have a pioneering mind. And I think visionaries often are kind of a little bit ahead, and not everyone understands that. But I did persist, and I got enough early traction that I really saw the possibilities. There was a couple restaurant chains and organizations that had multiple, and they bet on me. They're like, actually, we're going to transfer all of our marketing budget over here, and we're going to work with you specifically. And I was curating events for them. I was doing their marketing. We were doing contests, all of that. It was really cool. And early, I needed to hire really early because I definitely needed the support. Like there was a lot of content and editorial pieces behind the scene, as you know, running something like this. Like there's a lot of work and a lot of attention goes into it. So I think it took about 6 months to get to 10K followers. And I don't know if you remember, but it used to be you had to get to 10K followers in order to do the swipe up or something like that on Instagram and to like get the link. So it was like the mission to 10K. And that felt legit. In the first year, I was able to generate 6 figures off the company, and then, built it into a viable and scalable business after that.
Yeah, I was going to ask, at that stage in your life, what success looked like to you?
Oh man, to go back and think about, so when I started, how old was I? 24? I'm going to date myself here. Maybe 20. I was probably 23, 24 when I started the business. And I think success at that time was like achieve as much as possible, like do as much as possible. And that's very different for me now. I've learned that ambition needs boundaries and focus, and success isn't so much about, how much you're doing, but is it fulfilling at this point? So, but that was a necessary part of the journey. Is I needed to go do all the things. And back then it was like I won early awards. And in 2014, I won a Startup Entrepreneur of the Year award. And that felt successful. I was like, oh, this is people are recognizing me for this. And so that also, those things also kept me moving.
How did you know that chapter of your life was complete?
It wasn't one moment in particular. It was a lot of little moments. And, date night was a really beautiful chapter. I learned so much, 10 years of building and growing something and putting my heart into it. And, there was a big season, like towards the end of that season, it was also the pandemic. And that was a significant challenge. I was on a very high growth trajectory, launching in other cities, scaling into other markets, had reached 150,000 Instagram followers or something like that year. It was looking like it was going up and up and up, right? And then overnight in 2020 was out of business. And I remember sitting on my floor, the day that sort of like everything got canceled and having to lay off employees and looking ahead and being like, shit, what now? And that was a pivot point. And it was like, okay, what are we going to do here? That also gave me the opportunity to step back and say, what is possible with what I can do right now? I can't change the fact that the restaurants and the businesses are out of business that are typically my clients. But what I can do is look to what's going to happen on the other side of this and how can I be thinking about the future? So I strategically brought on a business partner at that time, and we looked to other accounts across Canada that were doing similar things and felt like it was the perfect opportunity to say, let's grow this community and let's start, bringing on these other markets. And let's do this together with the intention of I'm going to start exiting and you're going to start building. And the person that came on was, they were young and hungry and new. And I had reached a point where it had at that time been 7-8 years of building something. And my heart was not in the startup of it anymore. I'm a really good builder and I'm a really good initiator. And I think that there's a time when sometimes we need to pass things along for them to reach their potential. And I no longer was that person. So I had to learn, when it was time to let go. And I think it was a perfect, beautiful time to do it. And there's actually nothing that makes me more proud than seeing the business still alive and thriving today. And seeing what my partner had done at that time in carrying it forward. So it's cool. I'm still on the date night list and I enter some contests and stuff every once in a while. And I'm like, this is amazing. But I was really paying attention to the nudges. And there was a desire to be a part of different work. There was just like a desire to do something different.
What's your first feeling after you exit something like that? And is there anything you stopped caring about once you knew you could build something and let it go?
There's an identity piece that gets as entrepreneur. Like I think, and I won't say just entrepreneurs, I think many of us, our role and what we do professionally is a part of our identity. And then when that role changes, there's a part of us that can be confused by that and say, well, wait, who am I without this? And I've been through a few different experiences like that. And the exit was one of those points. But there was also a part of my journey where I had started another business, and that was not successful. I had dissolved a partnership in there too. And I remember looking at myself in the mirror one day and being like, who are you without this? What are you now? If you are not the leader of this, or if you're not the CEO of this company, who are you? And that led to some really beautiful work. It really, it allowed me to look at my identity in a different way, and what are my values? What are my characteristics? Who am I? What do I bring into a room? What do I bring to the table? What do I like? What do I enjoy doing besides work and besides business? And that's really contributed to me experiencing a lot more balance and a lot more freedom and a lot more fulfillment in my life, because my identity and definition of success is not only tied to my role, my title, and what I do professionally. It's who I am as a person. And the truth is, our role can change in an instant. Our business can change in an instant. You can find yourself on the bathroom floor and there's a global pandemic and you're like, oh, I don't have that anymore. That can happen. But your essence and who you are and your values and what matters to you, like, that is what remains. And that's the work that's really our work that we should do as leaders. And I think it leads to more sustainable success as well. It leads to more balance. I see a lot of leaders that don't have an identity outside of work, and then they burn themselves out over and over and over again because they just do work.
I feel that.
Do you feel that? Yeah.
What lessons through that did you take with you up till now, and what did that help you leave behind? I think
a big part of that is that like hustle piece, that like chasing enough piece. And I write about this a lot in my book. And, there's many different lessons that I've learned. Your business is only as healthy as you are, and how important it is that we prioritize ourselves in order, like, especially as people that are serving communities, we're in service to others, we're wanting to create an impact and do big things. If you cannot build an empire on an empty tank, you must take care of yourself. And I had that completely backwards. Like, I was just, from the moment I got up in the morning, it was like, check this, be in reaction to all the things, serve, do, more. Like, my energy was all over the place. And it wasn't until I really released myself from this role and title and that chapter of my life that I was able to see, like, wow, like, I've been running on empty and I was running on depletion. Was it a necessary chapter? Yeah, I believe it was. Would I do it any differently? No. Going forward, yes. But it was also a necessary season for me to go through. So now I've learned a lot more sustainability. And as a high achiever, I think one of the important pieces is also learning reflection, learning how to slow down, learning how to celebrate progress, not just finish lines all the time. The goalpost always, like the destination never actually arrives. I've just learned a lot more sustainable habits and routines to make sure that I'm well, so I can be in service the best way that I can, serving from, from a full place, not from a depleted place.
I'm going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we're going to talk about the gathering and leadership. Maybe I'll put an ad for the gathering in this break. Do you want me to?
Let's do it.
Okay. So good. Enjoy, everybody.
Enjoy the break.
The biggest risk is not taking any risk at all.
Check your ego at the door. Put the team first. Team is everything.
Authenticity will always win at the end of the day.
Uncomfortableness is how we grow. Pain is the reason we change.
What if the limit to your sky was actually the beginning of your universe?
Consistency doesn't matter if you're not passionate about the thing that you're doing.
Passion is contagious, and passion can be converted into cash.
The day I stop learning is the day I stop being a marketer, and the best way to learn is to teach. Play like your life depends on it.
Thank you all for being here. We'll see you in Banff 2026.
And we're back. That's how I do it. Come back from break like that.
Welcome back.
Okay, let's talk about The Gathering. Can you tell everyone what it is and how it came to be?
The Gathering is, oh my God, I'm so excited to actually hear your experience on The Gathering because I'm so grateful that you came this year. I have been going to The Gathering since 2014. I've been making the pilgrimage since my early entrepreneurship days. And it has always been just like such an impactful, transformative 3 days, like the best connections, the best relationships, the boldest brands. You really get to pull back the curtain on how these brands, like some of the most culture shaping brands that have impacted our lives, like how they make decisions and what their playbooks are. So it's a 3-day business festival, business and brand festival. And the things that we talk about is anything from brand legacy, how to build a brand to last, and then also human performance, how to show up and lead at your best, culture, what's happening in culture right now, and then brand excellence, which is how to master your craft. So over those 3 days, we call it a festival because it's not, a typical conference where you're sitting there and watching slide decks or anything like that. It is really, our intention is that it's immersive and it's experiential, because when you feel things, that's when you make changes in your life and when you feel inspired to take action. So we really integrate, whether it's supper clubs, long table experiences, music, arts. You're going to hear an amazing keynote like a Gary Vee on our main stage, and then you can participate in different workshops and things like that. It's really cool. And I stepped into the role. I'm in my 3rd year as the president, and I've been on a mission to say, how do we create value all year as a 365 day, not just that 3-day event. So this year, really looking forward to taking the show on the road a little bit. We're popping up at a few experiences like South by Southwest in Austin. We activated in Dallas last year. We've got our podcast where we are speaking to some really amazing leaders. And then we're also producing retreats and other events and experiences. So The Gathering it's truly an amazing experience. And I can't wait to hear yours. Like, this was your first year. What did it feel like coming in? What did you expect and what did you take in?
It was amazing. I loved it. I told people it was like marketing Hogwarts.
Yeah.
So good. It was like, it's not like, well, I want to ask you before I tell you, were you part of the shift from conference to festival?
Oh yeah.
How did you decide to do that? Why did you decide to do that? I love it.
Yeah. I think this is what I'm supposed to put my glasses on right now.
Yeah, the cool moment. Because it's amazing.
Yeah, of course, we created this. The festival vibes. Well, The Gathering has never been a conference, and from the beginning, so I won't take credit for that. I don't think they ever called it a conference. There was the language around summit, and so we shifted from summit to festival because, conferences inform, festivals transform. I just never thought that summit fit the vibe of what we were creating. And so festival is that intersection. It's that conversion. It's many things. It's those layers. It's the culture integration. It's the music integration. It's all of that. And as we're building it, we really want to start taking it from this 3 days into, multi-day, activating all town of Banff. You can go and experience content or events or experiences outside the Fairmont. And slowly, we start to take over like Canmore, Lake Louise, like
the world.
The world. Ryan, one of the founders, he has always had this vision, and he's been telling me this since the very beginning. His vision is that there's so many cool things going on that there's this like bus that takes you from Dana White to Brene Brown, and like the connection in between where, you know, that Brene Brown speaking at Lake Louise and Dana White's at the Fairmont, and you're like, which one will I see? So we're really looking forward to continuing to build on this. This past year was like, we called it Minimum Viable Festival. Mm-hmm. And this was the putting a stake in the ground and a flag for the festival we want to build.
It really feels like a festival. Like I felt like I was in Vegas. There's lights everywhere, the activations. It's always something to do, always people to meet. Like I feel like at a regular summit, you're there for the information and then the networking is secondary. And for this one, I felt like the networking was first. And then every talk I went to, I learned so much with the people I just met.
I love that.
Yeah, there you go. There's my experience.
There you go. I love it.
What about for you? What is the experience like for you? Is it just a stressful couple days?
No, I feel like so enlivened. I mean, what's cool about it is the gathering is such a choose your own adventure, right? Like there's simultaneously so many things happen. It's an orchestra. Like we build it. It's the biggest of it. Behind the scenes, if you saw the master production schedule, you'd just like be so overwhelmed.
I actually did tell someone it was like a choose your own adventure path, and I was on the creator path.
Yeah, cool. I love that. But it is a choose your own adventure path. So it's impossible to be at all places at once. You kind of have to choose your lane or choose the experiences you're going to have. And then what's really cool about that is that lends to really interesting conversations with people. What did you do today? It kind of sounds like you're at a completely different place than I was, right? So I really look forward to the debrief with our team, which we do in the hot tub the day after, and we like spend the whole day in there. And people come in and out, and I get to hear like, wow, what happened? Oh my God, that happened. You were at this thing. I didn't even know that was happening. Like, so it's those fun intersections that I think make it so magical and so great. And yeah, this year, what it was like for me was we did our live podcast on site. So it was a lot of coordination. We were really thinking about not only the conversations that were happening in the room, but how we can take those conversations and ensure that they last 365 days of the year. So if I wasn't on a stage with a mic introducing someone or, you know, moderating a conversation, we were down in our studio interviewing someone about high performance habits or, you know, what their bold move was for 2026, or connecting with our partners. Like it's fast and it's furious. We plan it all year and then it goes by like this. So
I hear a lot from people about how the gathering feels and the vibes. I want to know how much of that is planned by you and how much of that is just you stepping back and letting it flow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it said I'm chief vibe keeper.
Yeah.
My title. Our whole team is keepers of the vibe. We take it very seriously. We do think about it. There's only so much we can do, but it is curated. And even so, like you feel the groundswell as people are coming to the event because we've prepared them. And there's this like anticipation that gets built throughout the gathering throughout the year. And I really, really felt it this year because we were so intentional with our theme and our lead up. And one of the first questions we always ask when we're sitting down and doing a planning session, whether it's the overarching event or the micro events and experiences within, is how do we want people to feel here? And what is the energy of the experience? And so that intention is like infused into the heartbeat and like the backbone of it for sure. And then I think every event builds its own culture. Like the people in the room are coming there at this moment in their time and the wisdom that they're bringing and where they're at in their career and the energy. And like we set the tone, we set the table, and then it really goes from there. But I'm always like surprised in the best way that it's like better than we expected. The vibes were better than expected, you know?
Yeah.
But we do think about the things. We're like, okay, throw a saxophone DJ over there and we got to get cigars at the after party there. And like, there's little things that we really intentionally do that help spark.
Yeah. I don't want to take away from the speakers and the brands because those are all top-notch, amazing also.
Yeah. If we don't talk about that, then we're just talking about a great party. And that's all. There is there is so much to learn at the gathering. And yes, the parties and the extracurriculars and things like that are great for the networking piece and the connection piece. But we have the privilege of this network of the boldest brands and the bravest leaders in the world. Like when you have like UFC, Netflix, McDonald's, Yeti, like, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Gary Vaynerchuk, like, you name it, Pinterest, like they've been in the room. And those are people that are really shaping culture and thinking differently. And they're so generous with their knowledge and their wisdom and their experience. And the case studies that are presented on our stage are, I believe, transformative for culture, because the people that are coming are also sitting there and they have such an opportunity to create a ripple and an impact with their work. The marketing and brand department is like the heart department of any organization. And I think especially right now, brand is your moat. It's the most important thing for you to invest in, because your brand is what makes people remember you. Your brand is what makes people move. Your brand is resonance. And, investing in that is how you're building trust. It's how you're building attention. It's how you're growing and making an impact too. So the conversations that happen at our stages and our workshops and all of that are, I believe, back to the word, like transformative.
Is there anything that you want to protect about it as it grows that you want to make sure stays part of the core of the idea of the gathering?
Yeah, there's a couple things. One is intimacy. How do you scale intimacy, right? That's an exciting challenge that we get to look at. And some of the biggest conferences in the world that I would, put beside ours as far as recognition and impact and like the type of people that are coming, they maybe are like 10,000, 5, 10, 15,000 people attending. They're big. The gathering is not that. We are intimate by nature. One, the venue is, we're restrictive to how many people can come to Banff. And that's been a part of its magic. In 2014, there were 200 people there. And a lot of those people still come every year. This past year, we had 1,800. This year, we will have 2,500 in 2026. And our vision is to get to 5,000 by 2029. How do we ensure that we protect the intimate nature of the event? Because intimacy is where genuine connections happen. We're not talking about the weather with people or, passing business cards and that's it. The venue allows for you to run into people multiple times. It allows you to follow a thread. It allows you to like have a deeper connection with someone. And that's very important. And we've seen amazing things happen from the relationships that are built at the gathering. We connected GoPro and the NHL as an example.
Nice.
And by just putting them together at a dinner, within a couple months, we had GoPros on NHL players for playoffs. Like that does not happen outside of those people having a dinner together, which happened at the gathering. Similarly, the NFL and Big Brothers and Big Sisters, we introduced them there. They had multiple touch points. They were able to connect. And now Big Brothers and Big Sisters, or the NFL, is one of the biggest contributors of Big Brothers and Sisters now. How cool is that? Those are relationships that were founded at the gathering. That does not happen when the speakers exit stage left and just go to their private jet and like jet off. The speakers are integrated. They participate, they walk through the halls, they sit in the seats. And that's a really, really cool part that absolutely must be protected. That level of access and like peer-to-peer feeling that you get with all of the speakers that come to the event is huge. And then the second piece is, over the last couple of years, we've added other layers of content. The gathering began as a brand and marketing event, very focused on, the craft, how to master your craft, get better at your craft. The cult brand principles were where it started. And we've been building from there because brand is very layered. Brand is also leadership. Brand is also culture, right? There's many aspects of it. And to build a brand to last, you need leadership that lasts. High-performing brands are built by high-performing leaders, and high-performing leaders build high-performing teams. So we've been expanding from this OG, how to build a brand to last, into all these other elements. But what's very important is that brand remains at the core of it. And so as we start adding more conversations around human performance, around what's happening in culture, all that, we can't forget the plot and we can't forget where we came from. So we've embedded that through a legacy piece that we've created, which is the Brand Hall of Fame, which now we're in our 3rd year of the Brand Hall of Fame, and we actually are inaugurating the world's biggest brands into the Hall of Fame, and we're having them come out to the awards every year. And so now we've had 9 brands in the first 2 years, and we have a whole committee and process, and we are leveraging some really great analytics through one of our partners, BAM Analytics, and some great AI intellect, and some really fascinating and powerful industry leaders that are weighing in on that. So that's how we're embedding that. But those 2 pieces are really top of mind for me. How do you keep intimacy at scale and not forget where you came from?
Speaking of leadership, were you always a leader, or did you just have to step up and become one?
I think if you looked at my old report cards, there were signs of leadership. And you know what's funny is I actually, a couple of years ago, was at my mom's, and she like pulled out all my old report cards, and I was reading through, and it's like, Mandy does not like to be told what to do. Like, Mandy is always disrupting other people. Like, she's always speaking up, blah, blah, all these things. And so when you think about like, okay, so back then my teacher said that was negative, but now what are the qualities of great leadership? Like, I think that the report card checks out. So there is definitely some characteristics of, being someone that takes initiative. A leader has vision, and a leader can clearly communicate a vision that people want to be a part of. And I feel fortunate that I've been able to do that. And I think that that's what has made me successful in my career, because I have created several movements people want to be a part of. I invite people to move with me. And when you think back of, date night was like, people were like, oh, that's a movement I want to be a part of. Do I want to make my relationship better? Go out and, enjoy Calgary, do these things? Like, absolutely. People wanted to get on board with that. Similarly, and I had, the magazine, people were excited about that. And the ACE community, I had a women's leadership community and built a membership across Canada. It was because the only reason I was able to be successful is because I was able to articulate, this is why we're doing this and this is where we're going. And I think that that's the most important thing that a leader needs to be able to do. So
you're also great on stage.
Well, thank you.
It's like, it feels like I'm watching like Tony Robbins and Oprah.
Well, wow.
It's like, you really command the stage. Everyone's cheering. It looks like you're having a lot of fun out there.
Well, thank you for saying that.
I don't know if you like those people, but that's how I felt watching you.
That's amazing. I appreciate that. I'm always trying to get better and better. And, there's many years that I've put myself in the situation of, having the mic in my hand or, speaking on stage or whatever. And then there's that moment when you get off stage and you're like, was it enough? Was it good? Did it mean something? And that can play in your head, right? There's this like, you must experience this as well as someone who is, being bold enough to have a platform. There's this should of like, oh, I should have said this, or I could have said this differently. Those things used to haunt me. And they used to really keep me up at night, and I would replay the moment like, oh, you could have said this differently or whatever. I've had to do so much work to just let that go and realize that every opportunity is an opportunity to learn and an opportunity to notice like, ooh, I don't like how I communicated that or said that, or I held back a little bit, or I could have done that. It's like, okay, cool. That's just something to learn from. And now I get to be better next time. I really try and embody that. And I mention this because this year at the gathering, when I was speaking, I was trying to improve from the year before. And then this year I hit new edges and I felt myself hold back in a couple areas. And those edges are just pointing me towards like where I get to grow in 2026. And speaking is a big part of my my goals for 2026 is speaking more confidently and being more visible as well, with the book coming out and then starting to expand the gathering across North America and a lot of other locations. I need to be that one that does that. And so, what you guys see may be someone that's confident, but behind the scenes, like, I also have a lot of demons with it that I have to wrestle with. And I just really use these as opportunities to grow. And you know what I've learned? Like, no one actually cares, which is a good thing, because as soon as you're like, people are moving on to the next thing and they're just thinking about themselves. So
yeah. The real battle is with yourself.
Might as well just go for it.
Yeah.
Might as well just say the damn thing.
Let's talk about your book. Can you tell me about it?
Yeah. So Chasing Enough. This has been one of the hardest projects I've ever participated in. It's so vulnerable. It's so intimate. It's so many things. It's been such a growth edge for me. The book is called Chasing Enough. It's the High Achiever's Guide to Sustainable Success. It originally I started writing the book in 2021, and the original concept for the book was actually sharing a lot about my relationship with my dad and the traumatic events that surrounded his death. And I started writing, I think, to heal. I really didn't, I was like, this is a book, this just in itself. And I don't want to give away the plot too much on, what that looked like. But my dad passed away in 2018. And, there was a few years leading up to his death that were very, very challenging. I'm going to save him. I'm going to save the stories for the book. But they really tested me as well. And when my dad passed away, I didn't have the opportunity to say goodbye to him. In fact, he called me 3 times the day that he passed away. And I was so mad at him that I didn't pick up the phone. That was one of a very big regret of my life, is I should have picked up the phone. And I think for many years following his death, I thought that if I had picked up the phone, that maybe he would not have died that day. And I had to reconcile that with myself. And so I write a lot about that. And through the process of writing about that, it also really invited me to look at, like, what are all the ways that I continue to burn myself out? What are all the ways that all the edges I continue to meet in my life? And I connected the through line to a lot of those things with my relationship to my father. So I wrote about that in my book. Over the years, I've had 3 or 4 different editors at this point. The book has been like 10 different manuscripts. It has now transformed from a memoir style book into a leadership book. Because what I have learned is that unless we go back to the roots of where we came from and we look at the ways that we get in our own way, our inner child will continue to run our lives. And in my experience, my inner child was running my business until I learned to really go back and explore those things. And that has been the tipping point for me of becoming what I call in my book a well-resourced leader. Someone who is leading from a grounded place, someone who knows themselves innately very well, someone who is, calm and clear, not someone that is reactive and busy and therefore creating a lot of chaos in their life, which I did. I was that person for a while. If you worked for me early on, I apologize. We've learned a lot through a lot of seasons. And so I'm very excited for the book to come out. I actually was going through the process of self-publishing. And so my intention was to launch at the Gathering in 2025. And I was ready to upload the manuscript to Amazon and go down that route. And then I got a response from a publisher. And so I am working with Page 2 Publishing. They took on the book last fall, and it takes a whole year to go through the publishing process because they work with distribution and all of that. So I have an actual final manuscript and a plan for the year, about to record my audiobook, and will be launching at The Gathering 2026.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Put me on the pre-sale list.
I will.
I've heard from a lot of like different people, musicians, athletes, and entrepreneurs, that writing a book is such a different challenge from anything they've ever faced. Did you feel that?
100%. Like I mentioned, this has been the hardest thing. If the book never came out, it would have been the best therapy I ever had. It has been the most powerful healing process for me. It has also been frustrating. It's been a lot of things, it's like, and talk about this, like, is it good enough? The book is called Chasing Enough. And there's been a lot of times where I'm like, this is dumb. I should just burn it. Like, no one cares. But I know that it is important. And a lot of the methods in the book I write have been transformative for me in becoming a healthier person, a healthier leader, having a better relationship with myself, having a better relationship in my marriage, a better relationship with work, better relationship with money, all of it. But it hasn't been easy. And, writing a book too, in your on top of roles and responsibilities or whatever, like, you get up at 5 a.m. and you got to find time on the weekends. And all last year, to be really committed to finish it, I had to give up a lot of things. Like, it was work and write the book, and work and write the book, and work and write the book. And so it's been really challenging. And the creative process it's a lot.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel a weight to the responsibility of being a leader at this level?
Absolutely. And I hold that weight very preciously. And it's a privilege as well. I do take a lot of responsibility, or I hold a lot of responsibility for other people's experiences. And, whether it be creating an event and saying, like, people are putting their hard-earned dollars into this event, and they're committing their time and their energy, and they're attending this, like, I want to make sure that is going to be valuable for them. I really take that seriously. And then similarly, with the book, like, it's one thing to write or say something on social media that you can put out there and people can like or not like and comment on, but you could delete it. It's a whole nother thing to create something that is in a permanent form that people can like or not like. And then it exists. And it's also something you have to stand behind and stand for. And it feels very permanent. What's interesting about that is it has really raised the level of accountability that I have in my life for being about what I say I am about. Be about it. That's the vibe. Like, don't talk about it, be about it. And I love sharing my goals publicly because it makes me accountable to them. I love sharing my big visions outwardly because it actually inspires me to move towards that. If there's a habit or a value or something that is important to me, the first thing I'll do is I'll go out and I'll tell people. And that's actually what has probably contributed to the movement making when I think about it. Because, the beginning of any venture or thing that I've created, I've told people, this is what I'm doing, come with me, and invited people along for the ride. So yeah, I think there's a lot of accountability that comes with leadership. And I think we need to be really mindful as leaders. We have to know the impact and the ripple of our wake, so to speak.
How does bringing people together feel differently now than it used to?
I think bringing people together now is more important than ever in this AI world that we live in. And what I think is really interesting right now is that there is this desire for more analog experiences and more in-person things than ever before. And it is so necessary. We are overstimulated. We are on like multiple screens all day. This ChatGPT slop that we're all experiencing, right? Like, we need to add a little bit of friction to our life. We need to go and have real conversations with real people. We need more nuance. We need more life experiences. We need to build longer tables where we can really get back to community. And so we're really thinking about, what are the ways that we can help people be more present at the event. Spoiler alert, there'll be opportunities to check your phone for 3 days, give it a little vacation so that you can fully be in the moment. We're also working on some really interesting and fun collaborations with my friend Mark Groves this year, who's human connection specialist and a creator, and he's really leading a conversation around the impact of technology and devices and cell phones, specifically like our addiction to our smartphone, on relationships. And that's trickling into engagement at work and burnout and all of that. And so we're really thinking about event design and experience design a little bit differently this year. It's always been, the in-person event is the jewel, but now we're really thinking about how do we help people be where their feet are and not waste their time at the event, like trying to document the event the whole time, but actually taking it in and actually experiencing it. So at our retreats, we're going to be offering the opportunity to, check your phone for a couple of days. As well, we'll be doing long table dinners this year where they will be completely phone-free experiences. We've sort of given all of our attention away to like, hey, let's capture the content, let's make it viral. But I think what's really going to be important this year is what happens offline.
Moving forward, is there anything that you want to stay connected to as a leader?
Stay connected to, I think it's always just like stay connected to my truth. What's true for me? What are my values? Staying connected to that through line that I shared, like transformation is the through line. That's the why. That's what gets me excited. That's what moves me. That also allows me to make sure that there's always depth to what I'm offering. It's not like we're just going to create something for the sake of creating it. There has to be a deeper purpose and a deeper meaning for me to say yes to something. My values absolutely must be alive in my life. And I find that that's also really important to live a life that's fulfilling. Like success without fulfillment is self-abandonment. So for me, my definition of success now is I feel fulfilled by the work that I'm doing, and I have presence in my life, and I feel like I have creative freedom. I get to work with people I love. I have time and energy for the people that are most important to me. And I'm being who I say I am.
I'm so happy you came full circle for me. I asked you earlier what success felt like to you at that time, and you just answered what it is now. Yeah. I feel like we can end on that.
Yeah.
How do you feel? Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
I just think that is an important question for everyone to ask themselves is, what does success look for you like right now in this season? And sometimes we compare ourselves to others and what their bubble looks like, or their, how they're outwardly living. And we can compare and say, oh, that's what success looks like. Like, no, like write your own scripts for success in the season that you're living and update them often. And I think that's really important. What chapter are you in your leadership, in your life, in your business, in your relationships, in your health journey? It's so unique to you. And I think it's really important that we have that clarity in our own success and we water our own damn grass, because it's so easy to look outside and say, they've got it all together. That looks great. But the grass is greenest where you water it.
Nice. Okay, that's the episode. Do you feel good about that?
I love it. That was great.
Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
And I'll see you at the gathering this year.
I absolutely will. Okay, I brought you a present.
Okay, thank you so much. What is it?
It's very special to me. This is a pin.
Yes.
If it's not a fuck yes, it's a no.
I've heard you say this.
This is my signature life motto. It's actually, there's a tie to the gathering with this. But I got these pins made, I think it was like 2016 or 2017, right before I was going to the gathering as an attendee. And I wanted something cooler than a business card to hand out. And so I got these.
Yeah.
Like, if it's not a fuck yes, it's a no. And so I would I would talk to people, and I would, if they were worthy, I would give them a pin, and I would share with them, like, how are you making decisions in your life? What you're saying yes to lighting you up? Otherwise, it's a fuck no. So fuck yes or fuck no. And then I gave it to the CMO of the Dallas Cowboys. And the next year I came back to the gathering, and he was speaking on the main stage, and unbeknownst to me, he used me in his talk. And he's like, is Mandy Balak here? Because she gave me this pin. And I took that back to my team, and I told them I'm demanding a work or not at all, because it's got to be a fuck yes or it's a no. So that pin impacted. I don't know how the Dallas Cowboys did that year, but maybe their marketing was great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
It's a life motto. And so I hope you wear that, and
I will. And I'm going to think about it more.
Yeah. What's a fuck yes?